What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlemania here, back with another video. It's been said there's a thin line between love and hate, and that seems especially true in professional wrestling, where a clever promoter can get the fans to boo a guy they've been cheering for years. A well done turn can add new life to a character, spark a hot feud, and most of all, put asses in seats. Here are 10 of the greatest heel turns in wrestling history. Number 1. Hulk Hogan is the third man. In the summer of 1996, the wrestling world wondered who the outsider's third man was. The mystery only deepened when Kevin Nash and Scott Hall showed up at Bash at the Beach by themselves against Lex Luger, Sting and Randy Savage. Could it be one of the wrestlers on WCW's team? One possibility was WWF superstar Bret Hart, who, as we detailed in our recent Behind the Titantron video, he was being courted by WCW in 1996. But as we all know, it turned out to be Hulk Hogan. Hogan, whose act as a babyface in WCW had grown stale, and his addition to what became known as the New World Order, launched the hottest wrestling angle of all time. Number 2. Larry Zbyszko turns on Bruno Sammartino. WWF fans loved Bruno Sammartino, whether he was champion or a special attraction. By 1980, Bruno was semi-retired, but that didn't stop the WWF from inserting him into one of its greatest angles. In 1980, babyface Larry Zbyszko asked his mentor Bruno to wrestle him. Zbyszko wanted to step out of Bruno's shadow, and after much pleading by Zbyszko, Bruno reluctantly agreed to an amateur match. Bruno handled Zbyszko with ease, and Bruno's frustrated protege exploded, busting Bruno open with a chair and laying him out. The two feuded all through the WWF, leading to their historic steel cage bout at the 9th August 1980 showdown at Shea. The cage match was just a highlight of a lucrative WWF feud. Number 3. The Mega Powers explode. Fans may be disturbed by the number of times Hulk Hogan shows up on this list, but you can't deny Hogan's role in some of the most successful angles in wrestling history. Here the WWF took failure and turned it into victory after Hulk Hogan took some time off to film the disappointment known as No Holds Barred, and returned to form a tag team with Randy Savage known as the Mega Powers. Savage, who had become WWF champion to give Hogan time off to film No Holds Barred, slowly turned heel, growing more and more jealous over the attention he felt his manager Miss Elizabeth was paying Hogan. Eventually, Savage attacked Hogan on the NBC special The Main Event, after Miss Elizabeth was accidentally injured during a Mega Powers vs Twin Towers bout, and Hogan bailed on Savage to tend to Elizabeth backstage. By now, Savage was consumed with jealousy and vowed to end Hulkamania, leading to the main event at Wrestlemania 5. Although Hogan won the belt at Mania, the feud with Savage was just the beginning and would last throughout the rest of 1989. Number 4. The Freebirds turn on Kerry Von Erich. After months chasing Ric Flair for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, it looked like world-class championship wrestling's beloved hero Kerry Von Erich had everything in place to win the belt. Von Erich had Flair in a steel cage, Kerry's fellow wrestler Michael Hayes was guest referee, and fellow Freebird Terry Gordy was outside the cage to prevent any interference. So what's the worst that could happen? Well, after Flair got in Hayes' face, the Freebird punched out Flair, leaving the champion helpless. However, Von Erich wasn't going to take the cheap win, angering Hayes. When Hayes went to leave the cage, Flair blindsided Von Erich, knocking him into Hayes. An angry Terry Gordy then slammed the cage door on Von Erich's head, enabling Flair to win the match. The resulting feud saw the Freebirds go from heroes to heels in just a blink of an eye, igniting one of the hottest feuds of the 80s. Number 5. Bret Hart hates America. In one of the most interesting angles ever, Canadian superstar Bret the Hitman Hart turned heel in America while remaining a face everywhere else, particularly his homeland. Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin did a double turn at WrestleMania 13, with Hart turning heel after refusing to let Austin out of a submission hold, and Austin turning face after refusing to quit. Hart's heel turn led to a long-term program where Hart's faction, the Hart Foundation, battled a number of American wrestlers, pointing out America's degeneracy and Canada's virtues. Hart could get over as a heel in America, while still cashing in hefty merchandise checks for sales outside of the US. Number 6. Ric Flair turns on Dusty Rhodes. During the summer of 1985, NWA World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair was feuding with the Russian Nightmare Nikita Koloff. After Flair defeated Nikita in a cage, Uncle Ivan ran in to deliver a post-match beatdown on Flair. Enter Flair's longtime rival Dusty Rhodes, who cleaned house on the Koloffs, saving Flair's bacon. When Flair's kayfabe cousins Arn and Ollie Anderson entered the cage, things took a turn for the worse. The Andersons started dropping the boots on Dusty as Flair went to leave the cage. Time stood still as Flair turned around. Would he help Dusty, the man who'd saved him earlier? Nope. Flair helped his cousins deliver a Beetle Brute down on Dusty, breaking the American Dream's ankle and beginning the build-up to the group that became known as the Four Horsemen. With the addition of Tully Blanchard, the Four Horsemen emerged, becoming one of the greatest heel factions of all time and one which proved Jim Crockett Promotions with a solid group to battle its babyfaces. Number 7. Shawn Michaels turns on Marty Jannetty. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty had done everything possible as a tag team short of winning the WWF Tag Team Championship. Well, they did, but unofficially. So the WWF decided to split them up. After months of teasing the Rockers were going to break up, the two met on Brutus Beefcake's talk segment, The Barbershop, trying one more time to settle their differences. Just when it looked like the Rockers were reunited, Michaels surprised Jannetty with a super kick, then sent Jannetty's face first through the window on the set, legitimately knocking him out. The subsequent feud could have been huge, but a combination of personal demons and politics saw Jannetty booted out of the WWF. This angle was still huge, because it turned Shawn Michaels into the Heartbreak Kid, one of the company's best heels and eventually one of its top stars. Number 8. Vince McMahon becomes Mr. McMahon. Although Vince McMahon wasn't the first heel authority figure in wrestling, no one came close to doing what he did when he cagely used the fans' vitriol from the fallout of the Montreal Screwjob to create an on-air character who screwed wrestlers who didn't play ball. McMahon had the perfect adversary with Stone Cold Steve Austin, the redneck who defied authority, playing havoc with Vince McMahon. While some smarks and so-called analysts question Mr. McMahon booking himself as the company's top heel, the proof is in the character's longevity and immense drawing power. There's no doubt the Austin vs. McMahon rivalry was the apex of Mr. McMahon's character, but he's had other memorable programs, including his rivalry with Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels, as well as WrestleMania 23's Battle of the Billionaires against WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump. Number 9. Andre the Giant turns on Hulk Hogan. 3 years is a long time to be champion. With those words, Andre the Giant planted the seed for what would become the WWF's biggest heel turn of the 80s and its biggest angle as well. After years of playing a gentle giant in the WWF, Andre surprised the world when he showed up on Piper's Pit to challenge Hulk Hogan for the WWF Championship. Andre wasn't alone though. Longtime nemesis Bobby the Brain Heenan was now at Andre's side. Andre's heel turn saw him become Hogan's greatest challenge ever. And while Hogan defeated Andre at WrestleMania 3, Andre terrorized Hogan over the next year, eventually defeating Hulkster for the belt, although in controversial fashion. Andre's heel turn led to the spectacular success of WrestleMania 3, which created a hot year-long feud and saved Andre's career. Prior to the heel turn, Andre was ready to retire from wrestling due to tremendous pain he was experiencing. However, Vince McMahon sold Andre on the heel turn and Andre would go on to wrestle several more years. And number 10. CM Punk turns heel. What a difference a year makes. In 2008, CM Punk cashed in his Money in the Bank contract after Batista destroyed Edge during an episode of Raw, winning his first World Heavyweight Championship. Wrestling fans cheered up Punk's victory, watching him enter the main event to become one of the company's top babyfaces. Fast forward to less than a year later, and CM Punk cashed in his Money in the Bank contract at Extreme Rules after Jeff Hardy defeated World Heavyweight Champion Edge in a grueling ladder match. This time the fans weren't cheering, particularly after CM Punk began running down Hardy's lifestyle while praising his own straight edge lifestyle. Punk became a much hated heel, enjoying a successful run battling the WWE's top babyfaces, including The Undertaker, Rey Mysterio and John Cena. Well guys, there you have it, the 10 greatest heel turns of all time. Did we miss any out? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to support us on Patreon, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.